Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
Well, this is it. Day 31 of my 31 days of horror. Halloween itself. This has several meanings for me. One, I've actually managed to complete a series of videos, which is pretty cool. Two, I can go out and celebrate what's basically my Christmas. And three, tomorrow I might be able to sleep again. But that is important. What's important is my final film of this spooky season. 2 years ago, when I started this 31 days challenge, I ended on a horror film that inspired my passion for filmmaking and horror movies generally. Last year I followed it with possibly my favourite film of all time, Evil Dead 2, and this year I have Army of Darkness.
In an age of darkness.
May God have mercy upon your souls.
Something's wrong, something's amiss.
And a time of evil.
You shall die!
When the world needed a hero.
The swallow us all.
I don't want to die!
What it got was him.
Groovy. You know your shoelace is untied.
He's a 20th century guy.
For that arrogance, I shall see you dead.
Trapped in the Middle Ages.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. This is my boomstick!
Now, let's talk about how I get back home.
Foretold by a mystical book.
Within its pages are passages that can send you back to your time.
Forewarned by a wise man.
You must recite the words Klaatu, Berata, Niktu.
I got it!
Fulfilled by a wise guy.
Klaatu, Barada.
When thou misspoke the words, the army of the dead awoke.
Now he's got a date
Give me some sugar, baby.
with the Army of Darkness.
You found me beautiful once.
Honey, you got real ugly.
Sound the trumpets. Raise the drawbridge. Drop the Oldsmobile. From Sam Raimi,
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
director of Darkman, comes Army of Darkness. They live. They breathe. They suck. Army of Darkness.
The third and final part of the original Evil Dead series, Army of Darkness, marks a change in direction for Sam Raimi and company, with horror taking the backseat to comedy in a big way. With influences like Jason the Argonauts, The Three Stooges and Gulliver's Travels, Army of Darkness opens on a slight rejig of the ending to Evil Dead 2. After being sucked through a portal that lands our hero Ash, played by Bruce Campbell, naturally, in the Middle Ages, Ash is promptly captured and shackled, led back to the castle of Lord Arthur as a slave and forced to stand trial as an agent of Duke Henry. And boy, he isn't happy about it. It's revealed that the lands of Lord Arthur are being ravaged by a plague of evil creatures, referred to as Deadites. After Ash is thrown into a pit and forced to confront a handful of rotting Deadites, he's finally given back his shotgun and chainsaw, publicly butchering the creatures and pulling himself free of the pit. It's clear at this point that Ash is beyond caring. He's been through enough of this shit and it's time to fight back. And he certainly does that. Hailed as a hero, Ash is given all the comforts of a king, but still he insists that the wise men find a way to send him home. Soon Ash is sent to recover the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, which is believed to contain the passages that can send him home. But it isn't easy. Riding through the dangerous wildlands, Ash is attacked by an unseen force in the woods and forced to take shelter in a windmill. Here is he attacked by a swarm of evil reflections of himself, and this is only the beginning of the chaos. In no time at all, Ash is fleeing a horde of skeletons, known as the Army of the Dead, with his corrupted evil twin at their lead. Yeah, like I say, chaos. Unable to return home, Ash is forced to take a stand with the people of Lord Arthur's court and face an unholy siege, with the aid of some handy modern day inventions, naturally. I'd like to point out here that Peter Jackson's The Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings film, totally ripped off that gunpowder sequence from Army of Darkness. Like, it's not even subtle. In the end, Ash... well, I guess that depends what version you bought. Army of Darkness introduces us to an Ash that we will see for many years to come. Brave, arrogant, cocky, and basically just a dick. His one-liners have become near legendary since this film, with most of them being ripped off or referenced across every form of media, Duke Nukem in particular. It's not the Evil Dead I love, it's something else, and that's totally fine. This is the film to sit down and have a laugh at, and it certainly holds up. The slapstick humour, torn straight out of the Three Stooges playbook, is ridiculous and over the top, and I love it. Oh, and I have to say, the director's cut is the only true way to watch this film. Small, subtle changes throughout that just makes everything gel. The only bone of contention is the ending. One considered too depressing by test audiences, and the other which is ridiculous, over the top, and full of quotable lines. It's a coin toss, but they're well worth watching individually, and you'll soon know which is your favourite. Would I recommend it? Yes, obviously. Watch this bloody film. It's dumb and fun, and I love it, and so will you. Well then, I guess that's it, folks. My 31 days of horror is complete. This terrible, terrible idea that I would recommend to all of my friends. Next year, maybe you should try it. It certainly helps you go through the unwatched pile of DVDs that's just gathering dust all year. I'm kind of itching for my new challenge, if I'm honest. Maybe I'll watch every single Christmas film throughout December. Maybe I'll make my way through the 1001 movies to watch before you die. And maybe I'll just watch a film every day. Every single day, and do a review until the end of time. Yeah, I can do that.